What is going on, guys? So today I'm bringing you a video. I'm going to do this a little bit differently because I wasn't able to actually record this footage. But John, before he left for Ohio, I told him I would give him the block and timing cover for the old Cobra engine since we're going to be tearing it down anyways, and he brought down that Mark 8 engine for us. So I had him go tear the engine down because I was at work. So Nick and John tore down the engine, and the results are pretty interesting. And let's just jump over to that footage right now.
We're going to disassemble the Texas block out here, give it to this gentleman so he can take it back to Ohio, courtesy of the Lincoln motor he's got outside. But once we get everything out, I'll have Andrew come over inventory, and we should be able to get some stuff up online for sale.
Perfect. So with that being said, we're going to set the camera down and let us watch you work.
We're going to add in that Andrew broke a bolt.
Like make it a hashtag.
Hashtag, don't let Andrew take off harmonic balancers.
Awesome, guys. Looks like now that we've got pretty much the entire assembly off, obviously minus the timing chain covers, but it looks like that'll be pretty much the next step here shortly. Quick update, guys, in case you missed it, because the camera shut off, but exhaust manifolds are coming off right now. This one only has one more bolt left, but to get to that one I got to pull the oil filter. No big deal there. And if you look around here, got the timing cover off here finally. These are all 8mm bolts coming across, same as this one for the chain guides, as well as the oil pump. There's 4 here, same size, 8mm, so just crack them all at once, and then you guys will be good to go to zip them off real quick. Also, there's 2 teeth right here that hold these chains into the bottom, so you gotta take those out as well. And yeah, so that's what's kind of going on, so we're just gonna keep cracking at it.
Just break them all loose real quick.
That's what the plan was.
Pull ahead.
Yeah, pretty much it said pulling time. I was gonna see if I can set the camera down a little bit better light, but looks like nothing I can do there. Toolbox it is.
Pick up from this side and do it this way.
Yeah. So I don't know if you can see this or not.
Sure.
But obviously when you buy a motor and it looks like that,
That one's worse over there.
that's kind of a thing. Well, look at that valve. Totally. But oh well. And but you guys can get a good visual on what these look like coming out.
Alright guys, so it's a little bit later. I just got out of work and I just stopped by to pick up the camera from Nick, and he's over here working on this Mustang here. It looks like my camera's gonna die, so that's gonna suck. But it's a 5.4 with PI heads. It's a 4.6 PI intake manifold too, right?
Yep.
With adapter plates?
Yep.
Nice. And this SN95. So
supercar.
Pretty much you're bunning it back up and trying to start it today?
Yep. Bit of a real Teardzilla project. This thing is definitely desperate for paint.
Oh yeah. Sweet. And we have our little surprise back here in the truck, and that is our set of BBK long tubes with a catted X pipe. As I told you guys, it's going to be an off-road X. I have a spare off-road X for BBK long tubes in the brown car that actually came with it. So I'm super excited to get these on Teardzilla.
Need washers.
So you want to explain what we just learned?
I forgot that on a Mustang 4.6 pan, the small scrapers for the crank will not fit with the 5.4 forged crank, so a little bit bigger crank, so they're hitting it slightly. So we're gonna have to drop the pan and trim those little oil scrapers off the pan, and not a big deal, just take a couple hours. So just be mindful of certain things sometimes.
Yeah, when you're swapping a 5.4 into a Mustang. Alright guys, so I'm going to head out of here. They're going to continue working on the car, but I guess they're not going to be able to start it because they do need to drop the oil pan and shave that off. So we're going to head home. We're in the Cobra here. The camera's pretty low on battery, so I'll probably check in with you guys a little bit later. So unfortunately, John and Nick were having some issues with the camera. I guess the storage was full on the SD card. But basically what they found was that there was some serious rust issues internally on this car. My best guess is the metal in the oil pan that we found was from that valve that was rusted. I also have a suspicion that the car might have been a flood car from the hurricane or some other storm, and the reason why is because when we pulled the drain pan for the oil pan initially, or the drain plug, we saw water, just straight water come out of the bottom of the pan. Obviously we dropped the pan. You guys saw the video of basically the pan being full of water. So my best guess is when Chris went to start the engine, it may have ran and basically sounded fine, but meanwhile it was kind of tearing itself apart. One, because all of those valves and that piston was all rusty, the metal was coming off there, but my other guess is that water was mixing in with the oil there, therefore basically not lubricating the engine enough and could have started causing some other issues too. So my best guess is that this car was a flood car. When I opened the door, it smelled kind of moldy and nasty inside the car, so my best guess is this thing might have been sitting in some water for some time, and based on the time of when Chris acquired this car, it sounds like it's pretty good that it could have been from the hurricane recently that hit us. So unfortunately, that's the story with that. The crank still looks okay. The rod bearings, there was one that they said looked a little chewed, however, so it could have had some potential rod bearing issue later down the road. The biggest issue is that water was in there and those valves looked really bad. If we put that engine in Teardzilla, it may have knocked right away or very soon after we installed it. That engine definitely would not have lasted the way it was. So John has left Florida. That was nice of him to visit, and hopefully he'll be visiting and with his dad too soon. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I wish I could have gotten some more of the teardown. I'm going to show you guys some of the different parts that came out of the car later when I take a drive down to Nick's. We are going to be using the Cobra cams on the Mark 8 engine. We're going to be using the Cobra intake on the Mark 8 engine. The crank I'm going to be selling. I'm going to be having a bunch of parts up for sale, so if you guys are interested in the crank or a bunch of other parts, I'll have a list at some point, and I'm going to be selling a bunch of different things, hopefully recoup some of the costs of doing this. Really excited to get the long tube headers on Teardzilla because I have wanted a long tube header 4-valve car forever, and I know you guys are saying, well, why don't you just install long tubes on the Cobra? Well, long tubes for the Cobra won't cost as much. I picked up these BBK headers for $225, and they're 1 5/8", which is perfect for Teardzilla. However, on the Cobra, I'm going to want 1 7/8" so that I can actually gain some good power, especially if I'm going to go to a bigger blower later on with E85. So guys, I want you to slap that like button down below, leave a comment, and we'll see you guys next time.